Yo! Wow, that was a good way to start my stream today. What's going on, chat? Welcome back to another episode of Live Recon. Let me know if you can hear me. My microphone just gave out on me, but it's all good. Let me know if you can hear me. I have another special guest today. I'll let him introduce himself, but you might have probably seen Harsh already. He goes by rootxharsh on Twitter, if I'm getting that right. He just did some really cool stuff with Apple, with I Am Noob. They did some really cool research, which I'm going to ask him about in just a bit. And yeah, I want to hear from everybody. Tell me if you guys got to hang out at ActivityCon last night. What did you think? Did you enjoy the content? Did you get to watch any of the talks? If so, what talks did you enjoy the most? And how do I sound, by the way? My microphone's a little messed up today. Rahul, thank you so much for that tier 1 for 4 months. Krivix, thank you so much for the resub with Prime for 7 months, baby. Thank you so much. Did everybody get to did anybody here get to go to ActivityCon last night? Also, while we wait, I got a quick few announcements. The Udemy course is still on sale if you're trying to get it. I think it's your best bet to get it for $12.99. Just to the exclamation point Udemy. If you haven't gotten it already, I'm going to try. I have a good idea about this whole Mentorship Monday thing. Come to Discord. Let me know what you think we should do for Mondays. I really want to get back into doing something on Mondays, but I just can't find the right format. But I think a Mentorship Monday would be really good. Maybe we can do a Bug Bounty Mentorship Monday. I think that would be amazing. But just, yeah, come into the Discord chat. Let me know what you think, what you want to hear from me, what you want me to do on a Monday. I think I want to go back to hacking. I'm just a little bit over this whole Recon thing right now. So I don't want to do any more Recon. We did it for so long, and then I just don't enjoy it anymore as much as I used to. So let me know on Discord if you want to come and hang out and what you want to see on Mondays from now on. All right, enough about me. I'm going to invite our guest for this evening or this afternoon, wherever you're from. We're going to put up our branding really quickly for Recon Sundays. Let's welcome Harsh to the stream. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hi, man. Yeah, hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, man. Thank you for taking some time and joining me today, man. I don't know if it's late or early for you, but either way, I think it's late for you right now. But
Yeah, it's 12 in the night.
oh shit, we'll make this one a shorter one. Usually the streams go really long, but we'll make this a
Yeah,
short one. But thank you so much, man, for joining me. I appreciate giving you some of your Sunday night and coming on here and being open to sharing all your knowledge and stuff with us.
yeah,
For people that aren't familiar with who you are, I've met you a few times. I've seen some of your amazing work both on HackerOne at the events. I've followed some of your work on Twitter. Give us a quick introduction of who you are. How long have you been hacking and doing bug bounties for? Yeah, tell us about yourself a little bit.
yeah. So hi, everyone. This is Harsh. I'm based in India, and I think I've been in InfoSec from I think around 2014.
Okay.
I got into bug bounties in around 2016 or something like that. Yes, I've been doing bug bounties like from 2016 and did full-time bug bounties till 2019. Then I, just got a AppSec role in some of the companies, and then from there, I'm just doing full-time job and doing bug bounties occasionally.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. The guest, by the way, if you're using the guest command, it's wrong right now. I have to update it later. But all of his information is on the stream right here. You can just follow him on Twitter. We'll talk about your job thing because the thing you have to really correct me if I'm wrong. You were a number one hacker for one of the programs, and we'll talk about this. We don't want to spoil it yet, but you were number one for one of the programs, and then you were hired by them, right? Cool.
Yep,
This,
that's
we'll
correct.
come back to this. We'll come back to that. I think chat would really enjoy hearing your story about it. How did you hear about bug bounties? Like, where did you hear from bug bounties about bug bounties and that you can hack to get paid? How did you hear about it?
Yes, so I think it was via Facebook. So I was in this group where I met a lot of people. It was about XSS challenges and SQL injection
Mm-hmm.
challenges. People were posting kind of mini CTFs, and bypass this valve and etc. etc. So I met some friends from there and learned about Facebook's bug bounty program, and that's how I got introduced with the whole concept of bug bounties. Like people are getting paid for finding these vulnerabilities in real world websites and stuff.
And how did you get into hacking itself? Not I'm not talking about like infosec hacking, but like, were you a kid when you first started getting into hacking? Was it in high school? How did you get into hacking?
Uh, so it's like yeah, I've been using Facebook, and I was like with this game Farmville. It was like back in days Facebook used to have these games Farmville and stuff. So you
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
have a lot of points there. So I was just searching hacks for it, and basically I just got hacked myself into like some rat tool got into my computer, and yeah, everything got messed up. So that's from there I learned about this malicious trojans and stuff, and that's how I got started info. Like, okay, so there's like whole this field about hacking, and I should explore it. Uh, I got into like particular website after my schools when I first got introduced to PHP and stuff. So I was learning some web application development in my school, and uh, that's when I also got interested into web application security.
that's cool, dude. It's cool hearing everyone's background of like, oh, I wanted to play video games, I wanted to do this, and then I got into hacking by accident. I learned there's a whole different world for this whole thing, right? Did you go to school by any chance? Did you go to like a university or college for anything?
Yeah, so like I went for my degree, but I dropped out at like I guess in first year. Yes, I think I dropped out in first year.
You didn't
I
make it
don't
past
even
the
know.
first year.
Yeah.
Was it more of a was it did you drop out because you were already finding a good career with bug bounty hunting and hacking,
Yeah,
or
so
was
it
it
was
just not for?
yeah, so it was around 2016 17 when I was like doing bug bounties, and I was
Yeah.
getting good with it. I was seeing money in there, and it just felt like it was not college was not worth it. University was not worth it to go and spend like 8 10 hours there. Maybe that
Yeah.
decision was not perfect, but at that time it seemed like a nice decision, and I just took a
Are
leap
you
of
happy that
faith.
you
Like,
made that decision?
huh?
Are you happy that you
What
made
was
the
it? Yeah.
decision to drop out?
Yeah. I think I'm perfectly fine with it, because like I got to explore a lot of things, not just like infosec. I got to travel. I had a lot of time to myself when I dropped out of university, so uh, I got to use that time a lot in different areas. So yeah, I don't regret it.
Yeah, I mean, for people watching this, like, we're not promoting for you to drop out of school. I'm just
Yeah,
asking
definitely.
because there are people that say, like, I almost dropped out of school personally myself. I'm happy I didn't. I don't use my degree as much, but I was in the same boat. Like, I was on the last year. Do I drop out? Do I not drop out? I finished, but we're not promoting that you should drop out. I ask if you went to school because a lot of people think you need to have a degree to get into cybersecurity, or you need to go, to school to learn the basics. You can, but it's not really required. You can spend that time on your own. If you know exactly what you want to do, if you're good at what you're doing already and you drop out for a good cause, it's a different story, right?
Right. Uh, Another thing is that I personally believe that doing a good computer science degree, like not just for degree, just for education, it's good. I
Yeah.
think you will get to learn a lot about the low levels of computers, and it definitely helps even in hacking. So definitely don't be I just gonna drop out because I'm earning money. That's not a valid. Uh, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's to hear different backgrounds and what people think. Do you have any certifications like your OSCP, OSW, any of that?
Nothing like that. I thought about doing OCP, but honestly it didn't even like matter. Like I was doing bug bounties, and at that time I just focused on it. And as far as OSCP goes, at that time I felt the course was a bit outdated, and I was doing hack the box, and it was a new version of it, so I was
Yeah.
enjoying hack the box, and I just thought it's let's just drop the idea. It was, I think at that time it was $200 or something, so yeah, probably was not worth it. But
Yeah.
in the industry, I think people look for OSCP.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to have your OSCP. It depends on your background. It's not for everybody. I don't have any of them. But if you're breaking into InfoSec, you have the money to do it. Why not, right? I gotta make
Yeah.
this comment. Rogue SMG says, someone dropping out of their kid dropping out is probably every Indian parent's worst nightmare. You're definitely an inspiration. I need to ask you this. I'm Middle Eastern myself. I know the Middle Eastern families are really big on going to school, doing good in your life. For us, it's doctor, lawyer, and engineers, right? Like you got to become one of those three. At least for my side of my country is like that. But how did your family feel when you told them you're doing ethical hacking?
Yeah, so about that, like they were always supportive about the decisions I took, but they were just a bit cautious. Like this is the future you are opting for, so just be sure about it. But they didn't like force it into me. Okay, don't do this, don't do it. They just supported me. Okay, if you want to, drop
Yeah,
out, go ahead, do it.
that's
Do what
awesome,
you like.
man.
So
That's very
yeah,
good.
they were really supportive. Yeah.
Were they supportive of you dropping
But
out of
yeah,
school
otherwise,
for this?
what was it?
Were they supportive of you dropping out of school to do this full time when you told them that this is the thing I want to do? I know I can do it. How did that conversation go?
Yeah, so it was just this. I went to them and yeah, like yeah, I think the university thing is not working out, and I really want to go into this hiking. I'm making some money, and I think I will be good in this, and will make some career out of it. And they were like, yeah, okay, do what you like, just make sure you don't mess up with your future.
That's
But yeah,
very good, man. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
That's really good, man. It's interesting to hear because like it's not just the background where you're from, it makes a difference how that conversation works, right? But also like when you
yeah,
tell
right.
them that you're going to do ethical hacking is my parents were like, hacking, like what is that? Like is that really a thing? I'm like, yes, I promise you it's a real thing. It's really legit and it's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah, I think what added their decision got quick because they already saw I was earning money. Like it was not just a myth. I was making thousands of dollars, so they definitely see, okay, I'm earning money, so there's definitely something here, and I'm also doing legal. It's nothing illegal, so yeah, they were
Yeah.
quite okay with it. Yeah.
Uh, let's see. I see someone in the chat saying why do you guys report to big companies instead of selling them in the dark market? You go ahead and sell your XSS on these companies in the dark market. Let me know how it goes. I think that's not how bug bounties work. But do you so you said you went to school, you learned the basics that way. You recommend for people that want to learn the basics to go to school in some way. But when it comes down to bug bounties, what were how do you learn? How do you learn new concept? How do you learn things that you want to get better at?
Yeah, so I think for the bug bounties part, like how I got better with it, uh, I think it was activity, like the hacker one's activity field. I
Yeah.
read a lot of reports. Uh, Quite honestly, when I started in 2016, I was reporting such lame stuff like SPF entries and this kind of stuff, which definitely should not be paid out if I speaking from my opinion. But Yeah, so I took a break from doing bug bounties in 2016 and just started reading a lot of HackerOne's activity. And actually, I focused on a lot of web development frameworks as well. Like, okay, what's the pitfalls of Django application? What's the pitfalls of a Rails application? How CSRF works in here? How XSS mitigation works in here. So that's where I got like broad knowledge of different frameworks. And I just wanted to know, okay, if the application is working on Rails, I will focus on this bugs. And yeah, that's how I started to develop my own methodology
Yeah.
towards bug hunting.
So you mentioned you went and looked at what the Django pitfalls are. You mentioned Ruby on Rails. Do you think that for people, let me ask you the basic level question first. Do you think coding is a requirement to be decent at bug bounties?
It's not a requirement. Like you definitely can find logical bugs. Like look at NT, he finds a lot of logical stuff, right? You don't need to know coding, you need to have a logical mindset for that. But if you really want to deep dive and find some very technical sound bugs, like look at this. GitHub security lab, like the stuff they are doing, you would definitely need some kind of coding experience, or at least
Yeah.
able to read code and understanding what it's doing. That's at least you need to know that if you really want to dive really deep into applications.
What languages do you know, or what languages do you recommend?
Um, I particularly, if someone asked me to program, something really complex, I wouldn't be able to do so. I just can write some basic script, but I would say Python is my go-to, like because it's such a
Yeah.
basic syntax and everything is so basic there. Uh, and quite honestly, I would say if you are into web application security, explore PHP as well. Like
Yeah.
configure your own server and host PHP sites, and
Hmm.
then see what are the frameworks of PHP, how PHP works, how versus how framework works, stuff like that. This way, you just get to know a lot about applications structure, like what are routes, what are directories, all this
Um,
stuff. So you get better understanding of these things.
I think PHP is just, I'm not really good at PHP, but years ago, it's the first thing this is how I got into Web 2. It's just understanding it's not so much knowing PHP, it's just configuring Apache, MySQL, PHP, making them talk to each other, even customizing. Like I used to customize random WordPress stuff or other, content management systems. It gives you an understanding. Like I've made that error myself 5 years ago. Those errors or those mistakes don't go away, right? They keep
Yep,
happening
that's
and happening.
yep. Yeah, I think yeah, you made a good point there about WordPress as well. Like I think for my for a while, I think in 2015, I was
Yeah.
doing some freelancing on freelancer.com, and I just got a WordPress project. That's how I got introduced with WordPress, and I understood, okay, so this is how CMS is installed. You need to enter your database credentials. You have to configure this way. So this kind of things, it won't immediately gives you benefits, but in the long run, when you understand these things, they come handy, how all configuration works.
I mean, the thing is, like, you have to know what happens in the back end somehow, right? Like, you have to understand how this application is working at some point. You have to guess. You have to. So my way of it was I spent countless hours just hacking and understanding things and learning them online. But I know some people like they've done this in their day job. They've built these systems. They know how it works. They just don't know how to hack it. And I think finding that right balance of knowing how things work and like knowing how things work in order to break into them is very, very important if you want to become a top hacker, a good bug bounty hunter, or make money doing bug bounties.
Yep, definitely. Like you said, so there's no like one way to master this.
Hmm.
For me, it was configuring these things for you. It was hacking on websites, and you learned that way. So it could be really well just experience of 2-3 years, and you know what's what, how everything is
Yeah.
configured. Or you could take out 3-4 months and solely focus on it. So it's your way. I think your way of learning, uh,
Do you
but it
recommend
definitely helps.
any? Um, Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were cutting up. Do you recommend any resources nowadays? You said you did Hack the Box yourself. You did some Pentester Lab stuff. I think you mentioned that earlier. Do you recommend anything for people that are new, they want to learn? You know, you can't go and do bug bounties right off the bat. That's not realistic anymore. Maybe 4 years ago it was realistic because there wasn't a lot of
Yep.
people doing this, right? But nowadays, what's your recommendation? If someone, so your friend comes up to you, I have a bachelor's of science, I know programming, I understand websites a little bit, I want to get into web hacking. Where do I go?
Yes, the first and foremost is like hacker and activity. I think it's such a valuable resource. You just get, and the best thing about it, it doesn't get outdated, right? Every day you get new disclosures, every day you get new techniques to learn. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like the highest one thing. Another thing I would definitely suggest is Pentester Lab. I think
Yep.
it has really great exercises. And third thing that I find myself doing even these days is picking up an open source project, like pick up a open source project of a Rails application, and just poke around it, like not to find security issues, just poke around it, understand the structures, understand how to deploy it, and just then learn how they are preventing CSRF and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You will have a real code base, and you just don't have to do a black box approach there. You can see, okay, this is how this request goes, and you can look into the code and you can get a better understanding of the whole environment.
It's really good advice, man. To sitting down, not even looking at a security level of things, but just understanding how these things are working and why they're working, and having access to the source code even makes it easier. So you look it up and see exactly how it works.
Yep. If you are not working in an organization, the best thing is to just pick up an open source project and just poke around that code base, and you will get a lot of familiarity with both development and security stuff.
Yeah. Do you ever play CTFs?
Not really, like very rarely, but I highly uh, support them, like because they are such a great way of learning. Like I've
Yeah.
played a few, but only web related, and also like very basic level, not something advanced, not as a team or anything like that. But it's a really great way to learn.
Yeah. The reason why I ask is like, the CTF thing is, I think it's really important to understand. Like, it exposes you to the things that you want to get good at, whether it's web, malware, executables, reverse engineering, whatever that is. Um, but I didn't know if you had a CTF background or if you played CTFs early on to get better. So when you were doing this, your pure practice was, well, how did you practice? Like, what were you doing to practice these vulnerabilities? Just the hack the box stuff, or was it anything else that you were using?
I think just poking around public programs of HackerOne,
Yeah.
spamming them with probably a lot of not applicables. That's probably not the good approach, but that's how I got it. I filled a lot of NS back in 2015 or 16.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey man, it
so
happens. I think we all, if you don't have any, if someone says that they don't have any NAs, they're not being truthful. I think we all had a bunch of NAs. I've had a bunch of garbage things that I've reported and then later on disclosed, and so people see like we did all these. Like, it was step by step. You have to build up to it. It doesn't happen overnight. And I appreciate that you're honest about it and saying like in the beginning you were getting NAs. It wasn't like always getting these really good bugs and cool bugs. You had to work towards it.
yeah,
Uh, Tell me a little bit about the Apple stuff that happened. You guys found an O day um,
yeah.
in the application just so you can report it to Apple. How did that work? Tell me the story.
Yeah, sure. So we saw the blog post from you and Sam, Brett, and we got really excited because it was such a massive attack surface to work on, and we were like, sure, we can find stuff here. And the amount of stuff you guys found, it was just very motivating for us. Like, okay, that's if they found this in this much time frame, then there's surely more things to find here.
Yeah.
So I think it was second week of October, and my friend who is like who goes by the handle I am noob, name is Rahul. So we started hacking on Apple's attack surface. We generally collaborate on things all the time, so we started together. Uh, did some recon just to get okay what's up and what's all the things they are running, just to familiarize with their infrastructure.
Yeah.
And for the 3-4 days we didn't find anything, like it was blank.
Yeah.
And it was demotivating, like okay, well, maybe it's not that easy. But I guess after fifth or sixth day, bugs started to run, like XSS, IDOAs, SSRF, everything was just running down there for me. So yeah, so we were reporting stuff regularly, like 2-3 bugs regularly, and then from 2 days, I think 2-3 days, we were ignoring these 2-3 hosts, which were coming again and again in our in our Slack notifications. And we just thought, okay, let's we sat down at like 10 in the morning. Okay, let's have a look what's up with this host.
Okay.
Uh, and we found this header in the response. It was a CMS. So we got the thing about that CMS was closed source, but the Docker image was available. So we could host that Docker image
On
for
your
that
yeah. Okay.
CMS. And within that CMS, we found another CMS. So that was the first CMS was Mora CMS, and I guess the second was Lucy CMS, in which we found the vulnerability. So we've confirmed that the admin panel of the second CMS was accessible on Apple Host, and we just thought, okay, this is a great target to have. And by just googling, we came around that it had a previous vulnerability, and Orange actually worked on it. He worked on a forked version of it, so we are sure, okay, there's something here. It's Java stuff. It's similar kind of
Yeah.
a text service. We can get something out of here. So yeah, just started hacking on it, and like in 1 or 2 hours, we find like critical authentication bypass there. And then after that, we simply found an RC, like just in 5 minutes. Okay, there's an RC, but the problem with that was there was a WAF, so we had to run a lot of things. We tried request smuggling and whatnot to just get around with it. Yeah, yeah. So just I can go like in a whole detail, but yeah, then we write a lot of stuff to get it working, get around the path.
Very cool. How did it feel when you guys finally owned this thing? Well, how did it feel like?
Yeah, it was like so. I guess like I said, we were in 10 in the morning, and around 8 or 9, like Rahul and I came up with like 2 or 3 final steps we can do. Otherwise, we will just give up. So we were so tired, and Rahul went to sleep. And I think, okay, we discussed on 2, 3 days. So I will just try out this if any of this works. And one of that worked, and I just got a red shell on Apple, and I just messaged out, "Oh, dude, that's awesome!" And that was like my hands were literally sweating. Wow, that's awesome! And I just sent report right away.
50K bounty, man. That's excellent work to get that kind of a bounty from Apple, especially, man. Kudos to you guys. That's awesome. You mentioned you guys did a lot of recon for Apple. Tell me about recon a little bit. What does recon mean to you?
Uh, quite honestly, I'm not really good with it. I just leave it
Okay.
on Rahul. Like he will run some scripts and stuff. So over the time, because we collaborate a lot, we have developed our set of scripts and stuff. Like I'm sure you and other hackers already have this kind of stuff as well. So yeah, subdomain enumeration and noticing any odd header. Okay, these are the default headers. Like 50 headers which are very common, but okay, if there's 51st header which is not very common, we will look at that host. So that's how we learned about those Apple host. It was showing uh, uncommon headers which got our attention. So this kind of stuff is basically what we do in Recon. uh, I think another thing about Recon is it's not just about the subdomain enumeration. Like a lot of uh, path you can just when you work on a large infrastructure, how people deploy their application. Okay, so prod dash, you get the point, right? Prod dash service dot apple.com and stuff like that. So once you get a gist of that infrastructure, you know what to brute force for, and what kind of parameter names they use, and everything. You get a picture of it, because for you it's not maybe it's not general, but from the organization side there is a set instruction what should code look like. This is the naming convention of our parameters, this is the naming conventions of our path. So everything is written down in the readmes of the web, whatever the
Yeah.
application is. So when the developer commits, he need to follow that particular set of instructions.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I love how you said it. Every organization has not a current, they have like a method to name things, right? It's like it could be application dash, the environment dash something dot site dot com. Once you recognize that pattern, then you don't even need to use any tools. You just have to script on top of whatever you found, find a different permutation. It's just I think it's a good way to say recon is understanding how an organization deploys things and then starting to go after those things that are being deployed and looking for flaws and mistakes that could lead into vulnerabilities eventually. What tools do
Yep.
you use?
uh, Mainly, I think I use Go Buster heavily. Go
Okay.
Buster, I modified it a bit to get around with some quick issues we were having. But Go
Okay.
Buster, Go Witness, uh,
No
I,
fluff.
not really. I'm just not good with directory brute force a lot. So we just,
Yeah.
brute force DNS, and we just look at JavaScript if we find it. I really not go very deep into applications. If I see an application, I will attack it. Otherwise, I will just move on. Really simple for me. I don't do a lot of deep dive from a recon perspective, but when it comes to application, I really go into deep of that application, but not from recon perspective.
Do you prefer more hacking on an actual application than anything else?
Yep, yep. So, like if you see that Apple bug, once we got the it became such an interesting target because we had a code available for it.
Yeah.
It was a whole application, and this is what got me interesting because okay, I can definitely hack this thing. So I prefer hacking an application over just Recon and stuff. And actually, that's what I'm good at, and that's also I want to get better at.
Yeah. You mentioned, when we talked about the Apple thing, you said you had access to the code and you guys found vulnerabilities in it. I've also noticed you spend a lot of time reverse engineering CVEs. Tell us a little bit about that process. How does that work? Let's say I know Atlassian and their products are very, very popular for bug hunting. The CVE comes out. What are your steps for you to reverse engineer that vulnerability?
Yeah. So the thing about CV reversing is that there's a vulnerability right there.
Hmm.
It's like a CTF for me. Uh, it's there's an adversary, there's a bug somewhere within the application. So the first thing we do is read the adversary, what it says, where the bug lies. Sometimes they are very very thorough about it. Sometimes there's not much info into it.
Yeah.
So the second thing we do is we take two or three versions, like the paged version versus some two or three old version, and we diff them. So what's the most common change between them, and we look at that particular change,
Okay.
and then yeah, and then from there we go, okay, what could be the bug here? Sometimes it's very obvious, but sometimes it's not so obvious.
So let's say if you don't have access to the source, just for me to understand, you look at where the
Mhm.
vulnerability is, you get access to that application. So you go get Jira Cloud, whatever it is, Atlassian. You get that version that was vulnerable. You get access to it, and then you just pretty much test that portion of the site that there's a vulnerability lying around.
Yep. So let's just take the example of Confluence one. So we recently reversed the Confluence RC. So in that case, we just went on the adversary and found this hot patch. So we didn't even to have to diff between two versions. We just read through the hot fix. It was basically a shell script replacing a few things from this to
Yeah.
that. And from that we just developed, okay, so they are doing this, why are they doing this, and from there we got a straight clear path ahead of us. Okay, let's make a request to this endpoint. What's the routing of this endpoint, and so let's debug into it from where our input goes and from what all the things it follows and stuff. And if we find anything, let's just Google and stuff. So that's how generally it goes. We find where the code changes. We find how to reach that part of the application, and then we just debug it from there. We set a debugger there and debug it where all our input is going, and where could be the
Very
issue.
cool. That's very cool, man. That's awesome. Um, let's talk about a little bit about bug bounties itself. How do you decide what programs you want to hack on? Like, what makes a program, attractive to you, or once make it you want to spend more time on it?
I think it's generally use applications, like not generally having a wildcard scope, but generally having like a pretty big business application. Like for example, take GitHub. It's such a big application, right?
Yeah.
A lot of room to have errors. So that's kind of the targets I generally like to hack on. Yeah, Vimeo was one of that target.
So the application size itself, not scope itself, but application being wide enough to have
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
functionality, different user roles and that sort of stuff. Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, not even particularly, like I don't even like to focus on that user administrator. To be honest, I don't like to focus on that user to administrator privilege escalation. I don't know what it's called, but I don't generally like to focus on that stuff as well. Generally, for I will say very clearly, like for example, if I'm hacking on Vimeo, what's like most important part of it? It's videos. Like if I can make private videos and stuff like that, that's something they would care about. So that's kind of stuff I like to focus on. I see what's the business application is, and
Yeah.
what's their what they are trying to protect of customer, and I would like to go after that.
Does does the company brand make any difference in hacking them?
Uh, Not really. I'm not sure. Like Like, what do you mean? Like, from
Like
company
it
joining
doesn't
side, like
matter if
how
it's a
you,
big company. Yeah, if it's a
yep,
big
yep, how
company,
you
like
get this.
yeah.
Not really. So sometimes it's demotivating. Like when starting on a big program, you get this anxiety. Okay, that's not much to be find here. But when you start to give time to it, like for the week or so, you won't find anything. Like if you look at the recent France blog about hacking CloudKit, he mentioned right here he didn't find anything for the first week. Like he felt that there's nothing to be found. But from the next week onwards, he find it. So it's generally that's thing. No matter how big it is, like once you give it a good amount of time, you will just basically find the stuff. So that barrier is only for a week or so.
Yeah, it's just I wanted to hear what your thoughts were. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's inspiring where it's a big company that you use their products. Like, I have Apple products all around my house. I have the laptop, I have the phone. I'm notorious for losing my fucking headphones. It's like it's cool when you hack a company like that. Like, you know their products, you use their products, and then it goes on. There's other companies like that. But I want to see if that makes a difference in whether or not you want to hack on them. What
uh,
about? Go ahead.
uh, uh, in that perspective, yeah, I think that's also a cool thing. Like if I see, okay, I'm having a coffee at Starbucks, I would like to hack them because it's just a cool feeling to have. But
What about the bounty amounts? Does that make a difference?
yeah, then like not much, but I would look for at least they are paying 3 or 4K for me criticals,
So
but not
like,
much. Yeah.
you don't care how big the bounties are as long as they pay,
Like of course everyone cares like how big they pay, but
right?
I won't abandon a program just best because they are paying 3K or 4K, or I won't pick a program which is paying 50K over a program which is paying 3 or 4K. It's not how I decide to hike on. If I find an application interesting, I can definitely find. I know okay I can find works here, so maybe I end up finding 10 criticals there, and it will just give me a good amount of
That's
money.
yeah. It's I do the same thing. A lot of people don't want to admit this, but like if a program is paying $1,000 for a critical, but the program is vulnerable, you find 10 of those in like a couple of hours. It makes up for it, right? Versus a company that pays you 15, 20,000, but you have to spend 2 weeks to get that 20,000. You spend the same amount of time. You're finding more bugs, getting the same amount of money. You're finding less bugs and getting spending the same amount of time and getting the same amount of money, right?
Yeah. I think it's just different people's different perspective. I just say that I'm getting money, and that's all matters.
No, I'm with you, dude. I 100% agree. It's a really good way to look at it. A lot of people don't want to look at it this way. It's like, oh, well, this company pays so little, and I'm like, dude, what if like you find 80 bugs on this company? You can drain this entire company's bug bounty pool.
So let me give you a really about this program. So back in 2017, I was hacking on this program. I think I'm still on top of the program or not, don't know. But they were paying 750 bucks, like the critical bounty for that.
Yeah.
Probably no one will look at it.
Hmm.
And in like 2 3 months of hacking, I reported like 15 criticals to them. And with that I got really engaged with their program owners, so they started to invite me before they invite other researchers with beta testing for their products. So I was getting even more bucks now, and soon after that they increased their bounty from 750 to 1250, and then soon after that 1250 to 2500. And because I was so familiar with that program, because I was hacking from such a long time, even when they got it to 2500, I was still reporting critical asset and stuff.
Yeah, it's you have to think about the return. I hate to use this term too, but the return of investment, man. Like how long are you going to spend time on this program? How much do you think you're going to make? And do the math there. That's a great way to put it. Um, do you collaborate with? You said you collaborate with I am Nude Rahul. You said you collaborate with him a lot. Any other hackers you want to give a shout out to that you collaborate or admire their work or something like that?
uh, I've met a lot of fakers. Not sure if I got a chance to collaborate with them, but uh, as far as collaboration goes, I think basically I hack with I know. I don't, like in the last 2 years. I don't think I have hacked with anyone else. Maybe I'm forgetting someone's name right now on top of my mind. But
Yeah.
generally, I hack with him because he and I just get uh, our thinking is quite same when seeing an application.
What about any hackers you want to collaborate with that you haven't? Is there anybody like, oh, man, that would be cool to collaborate with them?
Yeah, so lately I've been like doing a lot of Java security, and I think I'm trying to get better with it. And people like Alvaro Munoz or Intisai, who are like already so good with it.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of Java specific people I can name out, and those are the people I would like to definitely like to collab with.
Okay, fair enough. You'd mentioned, I should have asked this earlier. You mentioned Vimeo. You said you were hacking on their program. I believe they also ended up hiring you for a little bit. Tell me a little bit about it. How did this all work out? What role did being on their bug bounty program play in you getting this job with them? And I want to kind of hear how that works.
Yeah, so I think I started hacking on Vimeo's program again, same time 2017 or around that. And I was making good programs on it. I was submitting good stuff. Then back in 2018, they invited like the US team was there to in the India office, and they invited because I generally was working with US team. They invited me for a dinner in their office in India. I think from there it took off. Uh, like after that, like 3 4 months, I hacked on their program, and they were at that time they were growing their security program, like add an AppSec team, add an inflasec team. So they were hiring, and they just thought, okay, I'm very familiar with their application, maybe I can be a good candidate. So I did go through the same interview process, but yeah, definitely helped me because they knew about my technicals. About Vimeo, I knew about Vimeo, and I was good with technicals. I was good with security, so they skipped over like
Yeah.
the main security part and focused more on cultural things in interview. So that's
Do
how
you
it
think
how
do
it
you
worked.
think that being a hacker on their program gave you a little bit of an advantage in the interview process at all?
Yeah, I think it definitely can because I'm it would definitely give because when when you have proved your skill to them, they definitely admire it. Like uh,
Yeah.
even before joining them, I was like quite in contact with them. Okay, hey, I found this bug. Like, look at the Verizon program. Like, you can increase hold if there's something urgent because there's a communication between you. So that's how it worked between Vimeo and me because I was just finding a lot of stuff and I can email them if I found something very urgent. And there was some issues that I even addressed over email because it was just so quick.
Yeah. I think especially when you're like a hacker, you've already met, you have kind of met their team, you've communicated with them. It shows your technical knowledge already, and it gives you an advantage because you know the application. You're probably better than their engineers because you spend so much time on it, right?
Yep, like I can definitely say like I know a lot of about Vimeo's infrastructure and definitely gave me a good
Yeah.
amount of advantage. Like they could ask me anything about okay, give something about our like okay, you are coming from bug bounty, give something about Vimeo's, like what's something you know about that we don't know, and I could just
Yeah.
throw something about it because I just at that point I knew a lot of about Vimeo, like the whole infrastructure and the application and stuff.
Very cool. Are you still working full time?
Yep, I'm still with them, and yeah, yeah.
So you work full time. Are you still doing bug bounties?
Not really. I do work bounties, but it's like 3 4 submissions a month. That's when
Okay.
if I feel like it. I don't generally do. I did submissions of this conference artist because it was just a huge target and it was everywhere. But generally, I don't do work bounties a lot now.
Do you have a routine every day, or when you used to do bug bounties full time, did you have a routine to like be able to focus and be motivated, or was it just whenever I felt like it, I got on the computer and whenever I got tired, I got off?
Yeah, I think there was no routine, and I would definitely not suggest. It's not a good thing to have. Have a routine. It's a good thing to have
Yeah.
because when I was hiking, I was just sleeping at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. Definitely not something you would like to do with your health. Not good. Uh, yeah, but I didn't have any routine, and I wish I had.
I mean, the routine is helpful. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You could be waking up, going on a walk, grabbing coffee, meditating, working, taking a break, walk, whatever that is, right? It's definitely helpful, but I want to hear what that is because I asked the routine thing because I also want to ask you about like burning out. Do you burn out when you're working really hard and doing bug bounties? And when you were doing bug bounties full time, did you burn out a lot? And how did that look?
Yeah, so I definitely burn out a lot, and I actually recently posted I think a tweet about it. That I burn out at a level I don't even want to talk to anyone. Like if someone is talking to me, they would keep talking to me, and I won't even like to reply to them. So
Yeah,
I just get at that stage. But that happen, and I think the main reason behind is it just working irregular hours. So for like if you take like last 3 4 weeks, I completely disrupted my sleep schedule, and
yeah,
that happens whenever I'm hiking. I don't follow any routine, and if you follow proper routine, I think there would be less chances of having this burnout. uh, as far as how I try to overcome it, it's generally going on walk, and just sitting down with my family, and that's kind of stuff I do, and over time I just overcome it.
yeah. The walking thing is incredible, man. I don't think people understand how much it helps when you go on a walk. When you're burnt out or you're stressed out, whatever it is. I think the walking is incredible. What about imposter syndrome? Do you deal with that? So let me explain what imposter
Yeah.
syndrome is for people that are watching. If you don't know what imposter syndrome is it's literally feeling like you're an imposter, like you don't know enough. You don't know as if people are doing better than you are, kind of a thing. Like I feel like an imposter because I'm hanging out with great hackers that know more than I do. What if I'm a fraud? What if I'm an imposter? It's kind of what imposter syndrome is. Do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think everyone deals with it. I
Yeah.
would say someone is lying if they say they don't deal with it. Everyone deals with it.
Yep.
But I think I finally, I think in 2021, I met this with it. I just admitted there's no way you're gonna get better with everything, right?
Yeah.
You get better with, okay, you have your thing, you are good with it, and soon after you, someone gonna come and you're just gonna, yeah, dude, you suck. Who gonna prove you that? And that's gonna happen. So just make peace with it. You
Yeah.
are not gonna become very best uh anytime. So
How did
just
you how did
make
you
peace
come
with
to
it.
peace with it?
That realization that happened in lockdown, that people just gonna get better with it. Like some people just use their time very wisely. Maybe you are wasting your time, they are using it very wisely, and they will just,
Yeah.
even if they were not no way near you, they started way after you, they will get ahead of you because just they are using their time wisely. And it's just people's routine and stuff like that. So it's like whatever my time of investment is, like if I'm doing good work, that's all I care now. I don't want to do uh, any competition with people. Uh,
Yeah.
if I'm doing good, I'm seeing my own progress. That's fine with me.
I think the competing thing is a big thing, and also like just accepting it that we all have our own strengths and everybody else has their weaknesses. You may be
Yeah,
good at hacking, but you're not going to be good at something else. Or you may be really good at this thing in hacking, and then someone else is going to be better than you in this other aspect of it. That's a big thing to understand, and a lot of people don't understand, unfortunately. Um, yeah, it's. I asked the imposter syndrome and the burnout thing because I want people to understand, like, we're all regular people. We're all regular human beings, right? Like we deal with the same stuff. It's just the way we the way we deal with these things are different. We've come, like you said, you've came to peace with it. You're not doing anything about it. It's just you've came to peace. You recognize it. You deal with it. Put it aside, and it comes and goes. I want people to understand. Everybody goes through it. It's not just them. Everybody else goes through the same stuff as well. Um, how do you balance your life with work, personal life, social life?
yeah. I would admit I'm not really good with it. You
Okay.
know, uh, making a balance between work and other social stuff. But recently I started to took some step like uh, make a proper schedule of my work hours of my full-time job, and then uh, after that go for some sports. So I do badminton, so I invest like 1.5 hours or 2 hours there. So that's a good thing to do. Once it gets into routine, you don't want to skip it. So that's
Yeah.
something. Engage in an activity, after a week or so you will start to like it, and even if you want to do work, it will stop you to do work. like like if I look 3 months back, I didn't want to stop at work. Okay, if I'm doing something, I want to finish it, then I want to step out of my computer. But now recently, if I'm doing something and my friends are calling, okay, it's time for badminton, I would just leave it right there. Okay, let's finish it afterwards. So after a while, it just settles in your routine. So engage in proper routines in different kind of activities, and I think you will automatically find a work life balance. I'm not, I'm again not very good at it, but I'm trying to improve my lifestyle a bit.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to, as long as you have, it seems like you have something that's working for you, even though you say you're not good at it, quote unquote. You still have something that works for you. When your friends want to go do something, okay, I'm closing it, putting it away. I'll finish it later if it's not urgent. That's a good way to put it. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are like, oh, let me finish this first, and then we'll go do this. And that finishing thing takes a while sometimes, right?
Yeah, that was me like just 3 months back. I was not wanting to just press escape and just step out. I want to finish the work I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's gonna take 30 minutes or 1 hour. If it was like gonna take 5 hours, I want to finish it right in one sitting. And it's not a good thing. It affects you both, mentally and physically. You just sit like 5 hours there as a statue, and it takes a toll on your eyes and your mental health and everything. That's a lot of
Yeah.
moving parts there.
Before I end this, I wanted to ask your opinion, but I'm going to ask your advice on something. But chat, if you have questions for Harsh, this is the time to throw them in the chat. I'm going to highlight them, and then I'm going to put them on the screen and ask him. But before we get to that, man, I was going to hear from everybody that's on the show. Um, what is your advice to new people who want to get into hacking, new hackers that are interested in bug bounties? What's your advice?
Yeah, I think first of all, like if you are getting in Bounties, I think you will use Twitter a lot. So
Uh,
make sure how you use it. A lot of people doing a lot of drama on Twitter lately. Don't try to indulge into it a lot. Like I've seen someone messaging you. I think it was some guy who messaged you something and stuff like that. So people gonna provoke you and
he
stuff
was
like
in the
that. Don't
chat earlier too. He was in this chat earlier too, just talking like
yeah.
that.
So don't provoke into it. That just, if you're even gonna like this thing, it's gonna give them some kind of
Yeah.
attention from your side. It's gonna show up in people's feed, right? So it happened with me. Someone was harassing me, and the best thing is to ignore it. So don't involve in things that doesn't benefit you at all.
Yeah.
Just ignore it. I know it's hard to do, but just ignore it. It's such a basic advice, but I think everyone should follow it. Another thing is to stop following uh, anything blindly. Like I see people just copy pasting this. Like when I hack on some programs and I see people just pasting payloads from everywhere,
Yeah.
don't do it. It doesn't do any good. Maybe you get lucky one time or two times or three times. But it won't take you so far. It can just make you lucky for a few times, and that's about it. You won't learn anything out of it. So yeah, probably don't do that. Uh, Last thing I would say, yeah, if you want to, like I said in the start of it, if you really want to get do some technical dive into application, pick an open source project, dive into it. You
Yeah.
will learn a lot about the frameworks and the structure and architecture of applications, and that's a great way of learning. So it will definitely help you in your bug bounty endeavors.
I want to add on to the payload thing you mentioned about copy pasting it. Understand why those payloads work before you copy paste them everywhere.
Yep.
I think it's very helpful. Someone in the chat said he is not good at coding, but still he reverse engineers Java apps. Does he use any open source apps just to help him? Like, how do you, since you're not really big on coding, is it because you don't like writing the code, but you understand how codes work? Is that how it's helping you reverse engineer?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of problem, like people fail to differentiate is between competitively coding, programming programs and stuff like that, or understanding code. If understanding code is quite easy, you just have to go through like lines of code, and if you know the syntax of application, like if you want to familiarize with Python syntax, you will just go in Google and you know the syntax. Now you can read the code. It's very simple, right? And if you stuck, okay, what this function do, you just Google it and you know about that function, what it does, what argument it takes, and you know about it. You don't necessarily need to know how to use that function in your code base and stuff. You just need to know what it does, what kind of arguments it takes and stuff like that. So yeah, don't don't confuse it with like, if you know reverse engineering, it means you know coding as well. It's not like 100% requirement. It is a requirement, but it's not 100% requirement.
I don't know if you can answer this question, but I get asked about like specific countries with cybersecurity, and I can't offer any advice, especially like India. I don't know how the cybersecurity scene works. Somebody wants to know, do you think that India is going to prioritize InfoSec in the coming future? And is there a scene for it in India?
Yeah, it would be controversial to say, but I don't have any comments on it. Yeah, really, I don't know what our government, what to plan in, but I've
Besides,
seen
let's
some.
forget about let's forget about the government thing. Do you think there's going to be more InfoSec related jobs and communities in India? They're going to be
Yeah,
raised.
so I've seen like a lot of startups focusing on security. Like
Yeah.
if you compare development role versus security role, they are even paying, if not above it, almost the same pay as a software engineering role. So I'm definitely
Okay.
seeing that startups are recognizing that the security is an important thing, and I'm seeing the growth into it. So definitely we would see a lot of more roles of opening up in the coming years.
Yeah, it's just people ask me, and I'm like, dude, I can't comment on a country I've never been to. I don't understand the scene. A lot of people ask me, I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully, I really hope so. Like, the more InfoSec jobs and communities, the better for us. But I just don't have any advice to offer for it. Before I let you go, man, I want to say thank you. But before I thank you, I want to see, is there anything you want to add before I let you go? Anything you want to mention? Anything you want to bring up? Any word of wisdom you want to share with us before we say goodbye to you?
Um, from my side, I think yeah, just thanks for having me, and yeah, keep hacking everyone. I think the best way is just to take your time, slowly learn things, and just don't rush the process. It's gonna take a while, but I think it's worth it.
Well, hey, man, I just want to thank you so much for being here. Again, I appreciate you giving your time to us, especially given that it's probably like 1:30 or 1:15 your time right now in the morning. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and being so open to sharing all your experience with us, giving your knowledge. And I can't wait to see you at the next event. And good luck hacking, dude.
Yep, you too.
See you. All right, that was it. Harsh is an amazing hacker. I've seen Harsh a few times at some of these events, and never really had a chance to chat with him. And now I realize I should have done this way earlier, but I'm so happy that he got to be here. I'm glad that we got to interview him for a little bit and get to know him a little bit better. All right, as you guys can tell on my face, I am exhausted from yesterday, both from ActivityCon and other life stuff that happens. I'm going to take off, but I promise if you guys come, either tweet at me, DM me, or on Discord, tell me what you want to see on Monday, Mentorship Monday. What do you want me to do? I want to start streaming. Maybe even if it's not Monday, we can do it Friday. Other than that, I am out. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Enjoy your Friday or Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon. I will see you all next week. Peace.